Let's kick this thing off. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us to explore this concept, this experience that we've created called Team Mosaic. And this particular session is going to be on Team Mosaic for schools. We have been conducting programs for the better part of 30 years with the idea of connecting people to each other, connecting them to the purpose of their work. One of our foundational beliefs is when people enjoy what they're doing, they tend to do it better. And when they enjoy who they're working with, they tend to do it better. So performance is kind of what falls out or what the byproduct is of that enjoyment. So we've provided a lot of different experiences for people, different activities, different events, with the idea that if we give people something to think about, something to do, and something to feel, then the learning is much more profound for people. So we have created a lot of different experiences over the years. We've got a barking dog. If you guys can mute yourself, that would be great until we go to Q&A. Thanks for that. Let's see, and I got to get back to gallery view so I can see all of you. Okay, so give people something to think about, something to do, and something to feel. That is kind of the foundation of Odyssey's work. And the doing part is really important to us because it is the catalyst to get people into conversation. So if we give them something to do that is relevant to who they are, what they do in the business that they're in, then we can have some really powerful conversations about their work and how they perform and what gets in the way of performance. So if we give them a unique experience, something that they've not done before, then we can generate those conversations more powerfully. So that's always been Odyssey's objective, is to create things that they haven't experienced before, and that gives us a new lens to look through. We started doing the Team Mosaic. It's probably been about 2 years that we were doing it all over the globe, and we were doing it with really big companies and really small companies and some schools. I think our biggest one was about 2,000 or 3,000 people with Wells Fargo. I'm going to show you a couple of clips of that in just a second. But that's a little bit of our history and kind of what brings us here. I think that I'll just point out that this one is, in particular, this session is to educate educators on the fact that this Team Mosaic is something that is brilliant for schools in this realm that we're in right now, this uncertainty that schools are facing and parents and teachers are facing, where we're asking students to spend more time on screens, the less time in the physical engagement, and how can we replicate that chemistry that comes from being face-to-face with people. So when we converted our Team Mosaic to this virtual platform, we realized that we have to share this with teachers and schools to be able to give them an experience that can help them in that endeavor of connecting their students with each other faster, accelerate the process of them getting to know each other, accelerate the process of them getting comfortable and familiar with this new realm, this new technology, this virtual space that we're in. And we realized, well, we've got to share this with the world. We've got to get all of our friends and family that are teachers and in the academic space to know that they can use this. We've subsidized this incredibly so that we can make it affordable for schools. Kim Clary with Odyssey at the end of this session is going to talk more about the pricing, but it's remarkably easy and inexpensive for schools to do this, and we've done that by design as our commitment to get this thing out as fast as we can, because time is of the essence in the state that we're in. So I'm going to show you a video here that's going to give you a kind of a broad view of the why of Team Mosaic. And so let me play this. Now I'll say that if you view this in the speaker view, it's going to give you a great big view of this video, but you run the risk of it being a little bit glitchy because it's trying to stream so much information. So you can toggle back and forth to see which you prefer better. If you keep it in the smaller thumbnail, it's going to be a much better quality, but you can be the judge of that. So let's have a watch and a listen to the why behind Team Mosaic.
I always like dark. Never really did it after the 5th grade. My teacher would tell me to use my imagination and then paint what I saw. Running my business was a lot like that. We had a vision and did our best to bring it to life. We mixed things together, mixed our people, mixed our products, mixed our customers. There wasn't much technology then. People made the difference to us. I can only imagine how much faster we could have grown, the impact we could have made if we had what people have today. I've never really seen a program that could capture that learning and connect people and the world in such a profound way until now. It took us 40 years of work and life to understand the power of that process, to teach people that we all play a role in creating our future, and that life is just a blank canvas for us to create our masterpiece. This program helps people think like that, dream like that, and do something that matters for their team, the next generation, and the world. I guess it depends on how you judge yourself, how much of an impact you want to make. What do you consider success? To me, it's people fitting together, working together, creating something together, something bigger than themselves, better than they can produce alone. That's success to me. I hope you find your success.
Well, if you felt something, I'm glad. And that was a beautiful piece that was produced by our very own Ross Field and Lane Hensley. If you felt something in watching that, could you just open up your chat box and just type in a word or a quick sentence of what you felt as you were watching that video?
Yeah, people coming in from Chicago, Kansas City. Here I come. Holy cow. Lake Tahoe, nice.
Super cool. So many silver linings to this whole pandemic that we're in. And one of them is just this global opportunity to connect with friends and family and try to align around something that we can do to help each other. All right, thanks for your comments, everyone. I'm going to give you just another quick view of that big event that we did for Wells Fargo to just see how we used to do this in the tangible world where we were on stages. And since this was the biggest one that we had ever done, I think that you'll find this interesting to see. And I'm going to fast forward to get to the Okay, awesome. That was a ton of work by a lot of people. And that was one of the most profound metaphors for everyone, is seeing that each of us, if we play a piece and we put our best efforts into what we're doing, even though we can't see how it connects to the people that we're around and maybe that we work with or that we're in school together, the fact that when those connections are made and we see the bigger, broader picture, it's pretty profound what we're able to do. And as a human species, we've done things that are just extraordinary. So it always requires standing on the shoulders of others. And so none of us can do this alone. And this is just such a powerful metaphor. So many things to talk about, so many different metaphors to connect with this experience. And so by the end of this call, we're going to give you some of those, a sense of what some of those things are. But you in the education field, you guys that are in the event space, you know that the power of conversation, getting people to be in dialogue with each other around certain concepts is the most important part of any successful conference or meeting or classroom. So with that, let me introduce a few of the friendly faces from Odyssey here that are going to be helping me with this, this session here. So we've got Todd Demarest. Todd, if you can show a hand, wave a hand there. That's Todd Demarest, our Chief Facilitation Officer.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening.
There he is. And Miss Kim Clary with her bright, smiley, shiny smile. And we've got Katie Leach. Wave your hand there, Katie. And then we have Allison. And they're helping out with doing some polling and some different things on this call, so we can learn a little bit more about you. So let's do a quick poll here that Katie's gonna ask you guys a couple of questions, so we can see who's on this call and some of your interests and concerns. So Katie, if you can launch our first poll, that would be great. All right, so there's your poll. If you can just go ahead and fill those in. Are you in the field of education as a multiple choice? And here comes your answers. And your level of concern for the lack of physical engagement and the potential for isolation in a virtual classroom. Bring that in, so I'm looking more at you guys. Okay, 83% of the vote is in. Ah, very good. Okay, so on the call here, it looks like we've got 22% are teachers, 15% administrators. We've got coaches and school staff at 4%. And we've got 15% of you that are friends and relatives. So I'm not sure if you can see the answers to the poll results here, but just keep going through them. And then we've got 52% of you that are in different industries outside of the education space. So I know we've got a lot of event planners and partners with Odyssey here on the call. Let's see, in your level of concern about a lack of physical engagement, potential isolation, it looks like 74% of you and somewhat concerned 26%, and 0% are not concerned. So we all have some level of concern. So obviously, I think that you could have guessed some of these answers in terms of our concern. I think everybody has those concerns, which is why we were so quick to get on with pivoting this experience for schools. So our hope is by the end of this call, you can understand how easy this process is and how accessible it is for you to do with classes. So if you've got a class of 15 students, doing a mosaic with them is just as possible and powerful as it was with Wells Fargo in a live event for 3,000 people. So that's our hope by the end of this call. We are going to have a practical part of this call where Todd's going to lead you through actually doing a team mosaic. And so we're going to get to see, you'll get to experience that and see what your piece of the part produces when we all take a crack at it. Okay, so let's see. The only other thing before we go into breakouts that I'd like for you to be aware of is that I'll save that for later. So Todd, are you ready to give them a practical experience of the team mosaic?
I am ready, but we're going to show them some other samples of other mosaics or not? I can't remember.
Sure. How about I show you one that I did 2 days ago with a school in the Bay Area. This was Belmont Redwood Schools. And here's what they produced. So there were 19 of them. They each got 2 tiles. They didn't know what their piece was. when they got it, they just saw this image that looked kind of random. And then as it populated, this is what they produced. So when they came back to the Zoom conference, they could see their pieces as they were uploading, starting to populate this image, and they were super psyched to see this. Better Together was the theme for their day-and-a-half offsite. So they'd been spending, I think the whole morning was about diversity and inclusion. So they had guest speakers talking about that and how they could be better together. And so this was a chance for them to have a physical experience to bring the concepts that they'd been talking about together in a physical realm. And then that led to our final debrief, which was, like I said earlier, this is all about being a catalyst or a placebo for dialogue, which the conversation at the end was really powerful. With that, Todd, let's let them have their own experience and let's see what we can produce.
Let them do it. I think we've talked about kind of the sake of what enough. You got examples of seeing what mosaics are, and every piece matters, and hopefully you all be beginners. When I'm setting this up, I've done 8 of these in the last 6 weeks with different size groups. And I just tell them, hey, be at peace at being a beginner. Some of you are going to feel like you were born to do this. Some of you are going to feel like you have 10 thumbs, you don't know what to do. You might have to tap someone else's shoulder nearby for some creativity, but you have the technology, you can do it. We're also going to be putting you in breakout groups when you do this, working in teams of 4 to 6. And we found that you can do it by yourselves. Like, hi, my name's Todd. I'm just painting this little tile all by myself, like a Lone Rangers. We're all good at being Lone Rangers. That's the exact opposite of what we want to create. We want to create community and have authentic connections and conversations. So in the groups that you're working with, we really encourage you to, say, hey, look at this. This is what I'm creating. What are you creating? Where were you born? And what school age group are you working with? And just have some generic conversations. It's really neat when we used to do this live, to just see the connections people would make just around the tables, just conversing as they kind of get into that Zen state of just pausing to do something different and quiet, like coloring or sketching or something. So here we go. Let's see. Oh, let's do this. So the big picture is we're going to show you a quick video, kind of hot tips of how to go through the process. It's about 1.5 minutes long. And then I'll give you a couple to-dos and we'll get you in your breakout groups and we'll do that. So Bill, can you roll that next video?
Yeah, you bet. Here we go.
You've reached an exciting point in the Odyssey Team Mosaic program. You will be provided a link to the Odyssey Mosaic platform. Select step 1, that will take you to step 2. Step 2, you will select the number of images from the blue squares that you'll see on the screen. Step 3, once you see the images that you are assigned to reproduce, you will use either the materials provided or simply some white paper to do your very best to duplicate the image provided in color, shading. Certainly lines going across the image are very important because they will line up with the lines of your other teammates' images that they're creating. Step 4, this is a very important step. Once you're satisfied with your image, take a photo with your cell phone from directly above the image so that it's perfectly square, not from the side in any way. Once you're satisfied with your photo of your masterpiece, you will then send that to yourself simply through an email or somehow transfer it from your phone to your laptop. Once it's in there, you will then upload it through the Team Mosaic system and you will size it, scale it so that it's a perfect replica of the piece that you originally received, and then simply upload it and it will join the mosaic where it will be gathered together with your entire team's images. After you've uploaded your pictures into the system, it's your opportunity to sit back and enjoy the camaraderie of your teammates or watch the mosaic come together and prepare for the final unveiling of the completed mosaic. Thanks for being a part of the program and good luck.
Thanks, Bill. So you're going to see all that again in PDFs written form, but we thought it's nice to give a little, see it once before you get going. Not a necessity, but it's useful sometimes. We're going to give you a link, but before we give you the link, we're going to, in the chat box, we're going to put some questions up for you to take to your breakout teams. Here's our hope is that, and kind of the ticket, if you will. So there's the questions there. Please share your name, where you are geographically, and a positive aspect of the quarantine that we've been part of, or lockdown, or whatever it is. What's been a good thing about it? That maybe a silver lining. So the ticket is, and the invitation is, get to your breakout groups. They'll be random. I hope you get good people. As a joke.
Hey, Todd, I've got one suggestion or reminder.
Pencil.
Yes.
Yes.
Pencil.
So thank you, Bill. So we're going to do this mosaic that you're making. It's not quite as big and intricate as the bowl that Lane's standing in, or you can see a screenshot or Bill showed you in the movie. It's just a simple image, just so you can see how it works, not so we can see your art. So please just use pencil and grayscale, and that'll make it easy for you, and you won't have to worry about being a Monet or anything.
And do a good job.
And do a good job. Actually, do your best. There's times, sometimes I tell people, there's times where I punch into work and I just kind of get the job done. And there's times when I really do my best. So do your best, and that'll make the mosaic look as accurate and as fulfilling as possible. So with that, we'll break up into your
one more clarification, Todd.
Yeah.
So everyone, how you're going to find this link is we're going to put the URL into the chat room, or Allison's going to do that. Allison, you can go ahead and do that. So you'll see a URL in there, and you're going to cut and paste that URL, and you're going to open up a new window in your browser, and you're going to go to that URL, and that's going to step you through all the processes that you saw in the video and that Todd has just explained. It's very self-explanatory, so just follow along the steps in that URL.
So we'll get you in breakout groups. Thanks, Bill. Say hi to those people, answer those questions, build a little bit of community along the way. Do the cut and paste in the URL.
And we're going to give you a whopping 15 minutes to do this. Normally we would give much more time. Normally we would give more time, but you can do it.
If you have questions, we'll be popping in and out of your breakout rooms to say hi.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so there is the link that's up there that Allison put in there. And with that, let's send them off to our breakouts. Enjoy each other's company.
They're coming back.
I hope nobody cut their ear off in this process.
Let's see.
David Mead, I wouldn't put it against you to lose an ear or two.
Guys, I took this process very seriously, and I think it will be obvious who's done the best tile. That's what I think. I just feel it's going to be clear. I think
it is. And you're right, it's a competition. It's all about competition, especially in elementary school.
Oh, do we have a module on competition?
We do.
I'll hang my hat for worst tile. I actually drew a box around mine to help me stay in the lines, and that uploaded. So it actually is much smaller and looks really stupid.
All right.
Well,
you're going
guys,
to do the next module on humility, and David's
yeah.
I mean, guys, if I could just make a suggestion, should we just kick Brooke out? Should we just leave? Should we just?
I like this cutthroat, David. Cutthroat.
I think one of
guys, if we could just permanently put her on mute.
No. How are we doing? I can't tell. How many people are back? Is everyone back yet? I can't tell.
It made us all come back, I think, Todd.
It made us, yeah, we're back.
Everyone's back. Welcome back, you guys. So as you look at that grid, you can see what you guys made so far. Your grid's turned into a piece of art, and you can see why you're doing your best with scale and placement and accuracy and color and stuff. Even in grayscale makes a difference. But and you can see your piece. Sometimes we might have people write on the back. If we were doing this for real, we might have them write a quality they want to be mindful of as they go through their next semester or their next quarter at work together, so they know they could look at that piece they drew and say, oh yeah, I got a key word behind there. Something of that nature too. So we're working on doing that in this e-style design as well, so stay tuned for that. But here, Allison, let's just fill out that video real quick and show them how it fills out so they can see what it's going to say.
Cute.
This may take a while.
So what's happening here, for those of you that are interested in the back end of this, because in this realm, we may not have had a total of 36 participants because we have 36 squares, or maybe some of you had some technological glitches and you weren't able to upload yours. We just built it out with the original pieces to the ones that we were missing. So there's your image.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
The fans go wild. This is how you applaud
Awesome.
in sign language.
Good job, us.
Nice job, beginners. Now, I was noticing something when you guys were watching, when you were watching the videos that Blaine played earlier, I was watching your faces. And a couple of you I know are affiliated with the Wells Fargo and that big bull mosaic that we did. And I made up, I don't know if it's true or not, but the faces of those people seem to just like light up, lean in, and just feel like they had a sense of connection and emotion and pride to it. And that was almost a year ago. And I think we find that it happens again and again and again when people see that image, no matter where they see it, how long it's been, they know, ooh, I helped put that eraser on that pencil. That's my thumbprint. And they have a sense of pride for what they created and that they're part of. So it's really neat to see that happening from the Wells Fargo people. And maybe you felt that a little bit just seeing your piece come together in that simple mosaic that you just did. We have this acronym, it's called ART. It's the awareness of reflexive technologies or tendencies, awareness of our reflexive tendencies. And we all have reflexive tendencies, like, you know, you have shower patterns, you have how you hold your hands patterns. We have all these patterns. Sometimes they serve us well, sometimes they don't serve us well. So we do in our corporate work and live scale work, we do things like the art of leadership, the art of communication, the art of teaming. And now this is just beautiful because it's the art of art, if you will. So the phrase art has a double meaning from our particular point of view anyway. So that's fun to play off of. Let's see, just put a hand up if you're proud of what you created. Anybody? Nice. Beginners, and just wave at somebody that helped you do it. So where we're going next is we're gonna put you into breakout rooms again and just have a debrief. Usually even in our corporate programs, we always have debriefs. We frame things, have them do something and like think, feel, and do, like Bill said earlier. So we wanna just give you some breakout questions to ask, to kind of ground your experience, maybe have it point towards the future of other possibilities in other groups. So you're going to be with a new group. I hope you get some good people, get the right answers. That's a joke. They're not right answers. They're just answers.
I'm gonna put these debrief questions into the chat
They're already
room.
I think they're
Oh,
already
you did? Ah, awesome. They're in there?
It says, I go to my
team.
chat box. Look at that. They're already there. So there's this quote I love: the shortest distance between two people is a straight answer. So as you're having conversations with each other, just be straight with each other and want each other to do well. And we'll give you about 3 or 4 minutes. Oh, that's my barking dog. So yeah, let's get you in breakout groups and we'll see you in about 4 minutes.
Thanks, Doug.
Hey, welcome back. Put a thumb up if you found some value in that last conversation you had. Thumbs up. So I'd love to hear just from 3 people what was valuable in the conversation you had. Not necessarily what happened, but just what was valuable. 3 people. Who's got a, raise your hand and I'll pick you. Who's got a voice? Ready, set. Yes, David.
In the last session, I think we all talked about the fears and challenges that we're all going through in our job as, you know, either as business owners or as educators. And even though I was in the room with 2 really talented teachers, I realized they have exactly the same worries, concerns, stresses as us. And we also realized that being able to do something like this, that is so quick and so simple to bring people together, is just really special.
Great. Thanks for going first. Who else? Let's see. Just a couple more people real quick. Thanks for going first, David. Yes, go ahead. Haha.
Are you choosing, Todd?
I can't see anybody's hand up. I don't. Oh, yes, please,
Looks
Isabel.
like-
Okay, this wasn't my idea, but somebody in my group had the idea that it could be like the virtual background for for Zooms, because I'm just thinking of it as a kid, as my child's perspective, just something to bring everybody together. So if you do it with your class and then you do it, and then you make it your virtual background every time you get on Zoom, it just kind of builds that we're all in this together. We did this together. That was something I didn't even think about as an application, as the virtual background. So
great.
That's
Well,
great.
it sounds like that it was worthwhile doing it with somebody else in your breakout rooms rather than just as a lone ranger. So I'm glad you found some value in that. Bill, why don't you take it to what's next?
Great. I just want to oh, is there one more?
One more. Veronica was wanting to share.
Oh, Veronica, where are you, Veronica? I don't see you in my grid.
There she is.
Yes, please.
And
Veronica.
you're muted. You're muted. There she is.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you my experience doing this. I was telling to my group that when I started the morning, I was feeling a bit sad and nostalgic when you showed the video of everybody working on their mosaics and putting it together. And after going to the breakout and to my square and talking with the others, I was feeling different, happy, motivated, being part of something. I work in a school, and I think that this kind of activity will help with the kids to feel again part of their community, part of their school. I am in a school from preschool to fifth grade, and these young students, they really need their kids, their friends, their teachers at school. So I think that these kind of activities make them feel that they still part of our school, of our community. Thank you.
I'm so glad you spoke. Thanks very much. Yeah, I think that's true. I think we're designed to live and work and learn socially. And this is a way to get to it in a simple but profound way. So thanks for sticking around. I know we're a little bit out of time on the 11 o'clock time zone, but we'll keep going. And Bill, you got a couple more things before the Q&A.
Yeah, sure. So those of you that can stick around, we're going to do a Q&A. There's so many more just cool things about the Team Mosaic, for instance, as it relates to schools. I know that I have two boys, and Miss Baumgardner, raise your hand, give a little wave there for it, if you can see Rebecca. She was my boy's teacher and just was so great with our boys. And we value her so much, and the people in our community that are in education and what they're trying to do and the challenges that they're facing right now. We would always, Amy and I would always go to our auctions, and our auctions would make a lot of money for the students. And there would be different pieces of art that were auctioned off, and some of them would go for $2,000–3,000. This one, as a potential fundraiser for a school, would be an option. You could sponsor tiles. So if you think of doing like a 3,000 tile mosaic, you could sell sponsorships. So anyway, if you stick around for the Q&A, we're going to give you just a bunch of other insights like that. Kim will talk about pricing and the ridiculous way that this is priced because it's been subsidized by Odyssey and our corporate clients, and it's super cheap to do. So we'll talk about pricing. If you have to bounce, we're going to send you an email with the links to the videos that I showed you today so that you can share those with others. So the old man, and some of the other ones will send you a bunch of information that you can share with others. So if you have to bounce, no problem. We're going to be here to answer questions for you. Please call us and let us know. If you can stick around for a Q&A, that would be great too.
And just a real quick thing, I know you all had lots of different choices and places to be today, so thanks for being here this time to connect and learn. Our goal is hoping that just to showcase this and see so you can see what it could be possible, and the tool and how variety of uses it can do for you. Hey, Allison, I was wondering if you could put that, in case people want to take a screenshot of that image, if you could maybe put that image as speaker view. How can we do that?
We'll also attach that in the email that we send to you.
Oh,
with the
great.
links so that you can have it as a PDF.
Great. So there's a screenshot. If you want it, take it. And if you can stick around, please do for the Q&A. If you have to go safely and make it a great day wherever you are, a good night. Thanks for showing up, and you know how to reach us. We're at odysseyteams.com.
Yeah, no offense if you have to bow out. All right, cool. Well, let me introduce Kim Clary to everybody that's still on the call. Kim, I've asked Kim, since she is in charge of sales for Odyssey, to just talk a little bit about the pricing. So Kim, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Bill. So the thing that everyone wants to know at the end, how much does this cost, right? For the schools, we've decided for the next 50 days that we are going to offer this to schools at a heavily discounted rate because of our wonderful corporate clients. They've been able to subsidize the investment amount for schools. So 50 tiles, so what you did today was one tile. So a 50 tile mosaic, which would look pretty similar to the size that you saw today, would be $150 for the next 50 days for any schools or educators in the K through 12 arena. Anything outside of that, if you're looking at a corporate event, if you're a reseller or an event planner, I know we have a lot of event planners on this call today, our corporate rate, you will get 50% off of that. So scenario wise, a 50-person tile is the minimum. So 50 people or 50 tiles is the minimum size of the mosaic. And that would be $2,500. So an event planner, that would be $1,250. Same thing for the school. So that's giving our event planners a break so that they can hopefully upsell it and build in some profit margin for their businesses. As we know, the meetings and event industry is being hit really, really, really hard right now. So we wanted to provide a resource for schools and for event planners. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I can dive into details. You all have my email. I've been the one that's bombarding you with all of these emails and reminders about today's call. So anything specifically, let me know. It's basically, you tell us you want to do it. You tell us how many tiles, you tell us the date. We work with you on the art. And then just like Allison did today, she puts we would send you the link and then we would help you backfill it. Like if just like you saw today, if not all of the tiles were filled in, we will do that for you. So we're not just letting you totally loose. It's do it yourself as far as curriculum and how you want to leverage it, but we'll help you as well. Anything else on that, the investment amount front, Bill?
Yeah, so the 50 tile is the minimum. So, and then there's a per tile or per person charge after that. So with the schools, it's $3 per tile for every tile over 50. And for the corporate, and our resellers, let's see, so the resellers and event planners, you guys get half off the corporate rate, and so your per tile charge after 50 is $12.50 per tile or per person. So it's super cheap. Not as cheap as the schools, but that's because we're giving them everything that we've got to make this thing cheap and easy to get started.
And then that's all the DIY version of it, the e-style, and we have 30 years of facilitation as well. So we can put a lot of magic in your time with your team and get them humming.
Right. So that's a value add, as Todd shared. Like he's been delivering these all over the globe from the comfort of his home office, and that facilitation is yours if you decide that you would like that. We can also do pre-recorded videos. There's just a ton of options. We can be as involved or not, depending on what your clients or your students' needs are.
Hi, this is Darcy. So I work with the community college program, and we're definitely interested. So I understand that the educator discount price is valid for 50 days. Does the project need to be completed within those 50 days?
Negative. Is if you purchase it before in the next 50 days, then you'll have the URL and you can use it whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Are we limited to purchasing one package? Or could we purchase two packages of 50?
You could do like some models are maybe the 5th grade or your community college. But anyway, yeah, you can purchase more than one.
Or if it's a larger size group, Darcy, like say it was 75 people, you could do the mosaic, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, for $150, and then each tile over that would be $3.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. If it's all one.
The reason I was asking is I work with smaller cohorts, and the cohorts identify along different lines. And so like my pre-health doctor, pre-med students might have one interest, And that would be dramatically different than, say, my mechanical engineering students. So rather than trying to go against that natural unity among those divisions, I would probably offer them similar activities, but let them honor their own career aspirations.
Yeah, so Darcy, a little bit more clarity around that is that you would have a different mosaic and image for the different populations that would resonate with those different populations. So those would be basically different, those would be different purchases. So you'd be basically purchasing different images and the URLs that go along with those. And in regards to the images, so those of you in the youth and education space, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a library of base images that, that you can choose from. And our goal is to have like 20 of these different images that lend themselves well to the artistic component. So it's not like you can just send us any image and then that's going to convert well to this process. So we've got these base images that you would choose from, and then you're going to send us your logo, you're going to send us the phrase or the word that you want to overlay onto that image, and that's how it's going to become more personalized for you. If it's a custom kind of an image that you want to do, we can work with you on that, but it just has to we have to approve it so that it's not too complex and there's not a lot of disappointment because of the intricacies or some of this, yeah, I think you understand what I'm saying.
Great questions, Darcy. Thank you. Who else?
Veronica.
Hi.
So, hi, my question is this. So I was thinking right now that would be really nice if after all this pandemic, we have the tiles in real, and then we could make like a event where we reveal or we show what the kids did at the end. So my question is, this will be digital at the beginning, right? So can we later have it like physical, like to put it on the school and the wall of the school or on the floor of the school or something like that?
Yeah, we have a tangible design where we would send you, that's what you saw in some of those videos you mentioned, Veronica. We'd send you the tiles, the paints, all the supplies that you need. And then they exactly do what they say. They can paint their tile. They can hang on to that tile until they get to be together again. And then when they do get to be together again, they can put them up on the panels that we can send or tell you how to create. So you have that piece of art, you know. We have lots of photos we can show you of different schools and companies have done that. They've had that real tangible piece of art hanging up in their lobbies or their cafeterias or what have you. That's a possibility. The $150 price that Kim was speaking about is for the E style. That's electronic style only. So there'd be additional fees for shipping the materials and the background work to happen.
It's a great question, Veronica. The image that I showed you that I did with Belmont Redwood Schools a couple of days ago, they chose that tangible style. So we used the URL E style, but we shipped them the paints and the tiles. And we also did a few more things with them that's really cool along the lines of what you're thinking is we had them write on the back of the tile, what is the quality that you want to bring or be more deliberate about that would allow you guys to fulfill this objective of being better together. That was their theme. So they had this kind of personal statement on the back of their tiles that they had painted. So when they do bring these things together, the front of it is going to be the image that they've created. The back of it is going to be all of their personal statements about how they're going to fulfill that promise.
So you work with Belmont Redwood Shores School District with this?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
It was Belmont Redwood Shores, the school district, the ones that you work with this?
That's right.
That is my school district. That's why I'm here. Okay, perfect. So they know how.
Oh, awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
There's some in the chat box, Bill. If you want to take a stab on one, it asks pricing, is it K through 12? Could it be extended to community college or would it be a corporate rate? That's one question.
That's a great question. We haven't really answered that specifically. I think that right now you've got a good chance at getting it for the same price with that population. I know that with our MBA students, it's kind of a hybrid in between our corporate and the youth and education space. So just get with us on that. We can make something work.
And then someone else asked Bill if it's 150 times, 150 bucks for one URL, and it can be used again and again, like if he has 3 4th grade classes, or would each class require a separate URL? And
it would be a separate URL. Once that system has run its course with that image, then it requires a new setup, and so that's a different purchase.
Thank you. Other questions in the chat or verbally? Good questions.
I don't have a question, but I had a thought when you're hearing the teachers speak. You know, the graduating classes have not had the opportunity to do a lot of being together. And if this pandemic continues, where you're painting it, each senior would paint, or each 5th grader or whatever, you paint your own tile and then you send it to the school, and the school puts a mosaic back together, and then that is your, sort of your graduation. Like, there's so many ways to spin this experience.
Yeah, you're so right, Valentina. These kinds of ideas like that are emerging every day inside of Odyssey and with the people that are doing this. So we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of how many ways that this thing can apply. That's a great one. There's so many students that have missed out on so much, and having this kind of be that image or anchoring experience for them would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, David.
I have to say, when you guys originally described this to me, I fell in love with it, but actually doing it is breathtaking. It's actually, watching the picture all come together, it's almost, I mean, I'm a big girl anyway, but it's almost moving seeing it all come together. It's so hard to believe that remotely, just using the garbage that we have lying around, I took this from a cereal box, lying around to make something beautiful together with other people. One question I have is that if I'm a teacher or a corporate client, how hands-on or hands-off are you guys when it comes to delivering it? I mean, if I'm a teacher, am I doing it 100% myself? I know you mentioned that Rockstar Allison is doing some stuff in the background to bring together that. So what's that like? Where's the involvement come in? Is it ever totally done by the teacher, or I'm just curious?
We would, Bill?
Todd, go for it.
Yeah, we would be there for sure in the initial conversations, getting aligned and firmed up on the image itself. David, great question. And setting up for any questions that they might have, we could give them. So basically, we're there for phone support, during, and after, if they have after support. But the version that they're doing for this rate is basically we're not there how-tos necessarily. We're there for support.
So a teacher might
set them up to win, but we wouldn't be there to facilitate.
So someone in the school would be doing Allison's job. So they would be going in the back end and choosing when to bring up tiles that haven't been completed, for instance?
Oh no, that's a great question. Allison, our team would be doing the backup. We're running the show from behind the scenes, making it happen.
Gotcha.
So let me just clarify that, because the idea is that this thing we've created it in an automated way, so that you can you can decide whether you want the image to be pixelated live so that everybody could see it coming together like we did here, or we could turn that off so that you could download the image when it's completed, and then you can surprise the students or the participants with the completed
Yeah, I like the
image.
Surprise.
The idea is that this is a DIY process. So you would be self-facilitating this unless you've requested us to facilitate it for you. And that's just an add-on plug-in that you can use us for. And Kim can, you can make that request and we can give you pricing for us facilitating it. But this is designed for teachers to do, educators to do on their own and have great results. We haven't yet come out with the facilitation guidebook, which is going to give all kinds of like debrief questions and some context over how to set it up. So you can expect to receive some of that. This is so new that first we want to just get it out there because we've got school year starting, and we'll build that as we get more people doing it, and Odyssey's got the time to put some of that facilitation advice together.
Wonderful. Do you know, I think I would love to. I would really want to take the picture that we all made and put it up on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and just show people it's amazing what you can do virtually in like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I would advise against not saying 15, 20 minutes. We did a very accelerated version of this. And so you really, this is an hour would be such a bare minimum to do this. And teachers have the luxury of more time than that. And you could spend 3 hours on this with the right kind of context and build up and debrief. So don't pigeonhole it into 15 minutes to do this. But you can say that it can't be done in such a short amount of time. I think the spirit of what you're trying to say is certainly there.
Yeah.
I had something, Bill, you just made me think about something. You're talking about brainstorming all the time that's happening. So here's this real life brainstorming. When you said it could take 3 hours, I thought of Veronica in her classes and the other people in their classes. You could have kids say they could get their tile. I don't know if this is possible or not, but they could get their tile and maybe they could work on it for 20 minutes today. And they can work on it 20 minutes in the afternoon for quiet time. And then then they can, how it can be like something they come back to and they have some time to reflect on it and do the better job each time or something.
Yeah, if they print these things out, then they've got the image there. And like I was saying earlier, what we did with the Redwood schools is, you can have the kids write down what are the qualities that they want to demonstrate in this new virtual space. What are the behaviors that are going to allow this class to be successful? Write those on the back of your image, so when their image comes together and they get the, like what we've done here and they see that, then they've got all this context and thought and feeling connected to it.
Other thoughts, ideas, questions, comments?
Just thinking out loud too. I mean, I think we already talked about this, but we could each student could do 2 to 3 tiles over a week, and like you're saying, Todd, and it's coming back to the one tile, or maybe you do 1 tile on Monday and 1 tile on Tuesday, and so on and so forth.
Terrific. Hey, I think that this has been super successful, and thanks for sticking around for the Q&A. I think we're going to just call it here, and we are all available for any of your questions. So stay in touch with us, and we'll support you to our very best abilities to make you and your students successful.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day or good night, wherever you are.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for spending time.
Thanks for letting us see it so early, guys. We loved seeing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.